Hey guys, it's Jay Drexel again with United Tax Liens. And once again, we have Nate with us today, Nate Lystrup. He's a good friend of mine. I've been investing with him on and off for the last several years. He's helped a lot of investors like you get started and put on the right path to really create financial freedom for yourself. And he's really known for some non-traditional ways of investing and kind of giving a different point of view that a lot of really traditional investors have never thought of. If you checked out our other videos, he's been education and real estate education, sharing this information with investors like you for several years. But even more so than that, his background is real estate as an agent, and he can tell you all about that. You can check it out in our other videos. And if you want to utilize him as a coach, you can reach out and find out more about getting to know him and utilizing his resources. But what we're going to be talking about today is another stream of income you can make with tax lien certificates themselves. Something many would refer to as tax lien flipping or reselling your tax lien. So once again, welcome back, Nate. Great to have you here again.
Hey, thank you for that amazing intro. Wow, that was great. And he is thinking outside the box, I think. People that get good at all this stuff, hey, there's a handful of us, and I think there's plenty of room in this gold mine. But if we have some other feathers in our hat, maybe that other people don't, hey, we can just maybe make a little bit more money. Or I always want to think of my exit strategy, and if there's one more exit, that's not a bad thing, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that we always educate on, especially you as a professional coach, is you start with the end in mind. What is your ultimate goal? And then realize you have to have multiple exit strategies for every scenario. And this is just another exit strategy. What's so great about tax lien investing, in my opinion, is that the moment you buy it, in most cases, you're accruing interest. Your money's working for you right then and there. And then you have multiple exit strategies along the way. And one of them is this, actually reselling your liens. And there's various different reasons and ways that people will do it. Of course, you're more of an expert than I am on this, but just to educate some of the newer investors in this, why would somebody want to resell their lien, especially, and you see this somewhat often with big institutional lenders and big investors, where a redemption period is about to end, where they could possibly step in and take ownership of the property or apply for a TDA foreclosure process. And they decide, hey, I'm just going to resell this on a secondary marketplace or resell it to somebody else. And it's not just the big institutional lenders, it's individuals like you and I that could do this just to create income. Why would somebody want to do that?
Sure. Well, I mean, hey, not everybody is in this for the roll-ups and filing its tax deeds applications. They might be a little bit more of a passive investor, which is great. We can make a lot of money as a passive investor, but maybe we don't want to get to that point of filing the roll-up and tying to a bunch of extra money up, sending it to foreclosure. Once a tax lien certificate reaches maturity, hey, there might be a little more value on that as well. And if I have, I've been accruing interest, like you mentioned, from day one, picking that certificate up, and I might just want to maybe put that on a website, maybe bid for assets, eBay. Maybe I'm going to tack $500 on it. Maybe I tack $1,000 on it. See if I can cash out on that above and beyond my interest to an investor that really wants to take it to the next level and sees a huge opportunity in that.
Right, absolutely. And something I've seen from novice investors is they get excited about this prior to having a coach or a mentor, having the right education. And they've heard those rumors that when the redemption period ends, they get the property, which really isn't the fact of how it works. And they don't realize that the costs that go into actually taking ownership. And one big thing is we always talk about ROI. We focus on the ROI, but some people, like you said, don't care about going through that process. They don't understand it yet. Would you agree that sometimes people are just looking for ways out as an exit strategy because they don't want to go through that entire process and those additional expenses of hiring an attorney, or in this case, a roll-up, as you mentioned just a moment ago?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we get to digging into tax lien certificates and looking at what the total roll-up is going to be, if we understand how tax lien certificates work, there's a lot of times there's pretty big roll up, and we always see a guy right at the bottom, maybe with right now a 2013 tax year, 2014 certificate year that is going to expire. We can lose money on this stuff if we don't do something in 7 years. Well, that individual probably hasn't thought of this. Now, he or she can't afford that roll up. It might be a $15,000 roll up. Boy, if they don't step on the gas by May 31st, they're out their money. The county keeps their money. But what, as an exit strategy, why don't they just try to sell that certificate? and maybe tack on a little bit. I promise you there's plenty of people drooling for those foreclosable certificates that are beyond the redemption period. And we just have to find that audience.
Yeah, there's a huge market for that. There's a lot of people that don't want to wait the full redemption period. They want to buy post redemption, where you could actually have a lien that's ready to file for TDA or ready for foreclosure, depending on the state, where you could, like you said, just put a markup on it, sell it off to somebody else. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never looked this up on things like Craigslist and eBay, you'll be amazed at some of the things you see there. And as you mentioned, bid for assets. And really, the process, from my understanding, to transfer a lien to somebody else isn't really that difficult. Most of those sites, and I'm sure you've looked into this too, like Real Auction and Lien Hub, it's built within the system for you to be able to transfer it. And it's only a few dollars in most cases. So whatever you're charging in a markup, as you said, if it's great property and you could put a tab of $500 or $1,000 for you to make, it's only a couple dollars for you to transfer ownership. So it's a great way to create additional streams of revenue, even if you don't want to acquire the property. And it's a business in and of itself. And it's something that a lot of people will ask us about buying towards the end of redemption period, that coaches like you would refer to more often than not as a secondary marketplace. So you could essentially become your own secondary marketplace. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And I talk to my students about that all the time. On our website, Marketplace Pro, we have the luxury as clients that are members of just having a lot of low hanging fruit. And that's what I call it. When we get, deals that we purchase from hedge funds that are in there that match our criteria, that's easy breezy. But above and beyond that, we just need to learn how to create our own secondary market. And I go, it's 25 billion in unpaid property taxes. I don't think next year they're going to start paying, right?
Right.
I think this might be around for a little while. And boy, if we can get creative and learn how to create our own secondary market, what a skill set to have. And just another exit strategy to possibly sell these when they're mature. We never know what's going on. Maybe we just cashed out on a property. Maybe we're a little bit tight on capital right now and we have another opportunity. But boy, I have 5 mature tax lien certificates right now. What if I could dump those and take advantage of this opportunity? It's kind of always the ebb and flow and just kind of learning these exit strategies and how to proceed.
It's a great way to leverage your inventory, just like you said, especially for investors like you and I that have been doing this for years and have accumulated a lot. I'll point this out also, and I'm sure you've seen it too. Once you start investing in a lot of specific areas, since we refer to them because they're buyer friendly quite often, of Arizona and Florida, you'll eventually get funds and you'll eventually get law firms that will reach out to you and ask you on this guise of saying, hey, we want to manage your inventory, which you can do already with Marketplace Pro. But the bigger picture they're trying to get to a lot more often than not is they're asking you if you are willing to sell your inventory to them, or almost like consignment where they can find other investors. So there are a lot of different strategies, but you might as well just do it on your own if you can do it and just make the full profits, right? So that's what's so great about tax and investing is there's so many different ways, or lien deed, all tax sales. There's so many different ways to create revenue that's why it's so important to have a coach like Nate on your side. And that's why, hey, it's great to come to somebody that has such a mountain of knowledge that's especially non-traditional. They can point you down some different paths. So thank you for giving that information. And obviously there's a lot of different things that you can help people with. And of course, do you have any last words of advice before we finish up this session with the investors that we're working with right now?
Boy, I would just say, as Jade mentioned, and I appreciate you having me on. We can, if our knowledge is a mile wide and an inch thick, we could get in trouble in this stuff. And I think that's why there's not so much competition. But boy, if we can dial this in, and it's just doing reps, And I think working, I get people that are just starting, people that are seasoned investors, and I'll dig into a deal with them and I'm discovering things new. So it's a never ending process, but to get with one of us, if you're interested, go to my client development. You can reach out to me, any of the other coaches, but we have fun with it. And it's really just getting a base knowledge of this and just getting after it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like he said, we're just scratching the surface on this stuff. We only have so much time to bring you this information. That's why it's so important to work with a coach one on one to really put you on the right path and find the strategy that best suits you. And also, like Nate, to open you up to strategies that you may not even know exist or even heard of, which is so awesome. So, once again, thanks for being here, Nate. Thanks for being a friend. I appreciate you stepping in the last minute here and getting you on here.
Nice to see you, buddy. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, man. And to everybody out there, we wish you all best success in everything that you do. And we look forward to seeing you on the next one of these. Have a great day.